The 10 heaviest people on the planet. Stories of records, pain, and strength. When we hear the phrase, the heaviest person on the planet, many people think of it as a shocking record or a sensational headline. However, behind these stories, there is usually something far more serious: illness, emotional struggle, loneliness, and extreme physical hardship. These individuals were not simply people who ate too much. Many faced metabolic disorders, hormonal problems, food addiction, depression, trauma, and a lack of proper medical support. This is a respectful overview of 10 of the heaviest people ever recorded or widely documented. Their lives are a reminder that extreme obesity is not a joke or entertainment. It is a life-threatening condition. 1. John Brower Minnock, USA. Maximum weight, about 635 kilograms. John Brower Minnock is considered the heaviest person in history whose weight was officially recorded. He was extremely overweight from a young age, and as an adult, his condition became critical. A major part of his weight was linked to severe fluid retention, meaning his body held enormous amounts of water as well as fat. When he needed hospital care, dozens of people and special equipment were required to transport him. Under strict medical supervision and a controlled diet, he managed to lose a huge amount of weight. Sadly, his health had already been damaged by years of extreme strain. He died at 41. His story shows that obesity at this level is not simply a body type. It is a serious and often deadly illness. 2. Carol Yeager, USA. Maximum weight, about 544 kilograms. Carol Yeager is often described as the heaviest woman ever recorded. She gained weight from childhood and suffered severe health problems later in life. Many sources suggest that emotional trauma may have played a role in her condition, as food can become a way to cope with pain and stress. As her weight increased, everyday life became extremely difficult. Mobility, breathing, hygiene, and basic self-care turned into constant struggles. Doctors tried to help her lose weight, but maintaining progress was extremely challenging. She passed away at the age of 34. Her life is a tragic example of how early obesity can develop into a critical medical condition. 3. Manuel Uribe, Mexico. Maximum weight, about 597 kilograms. Manuel Uribe became famous worldwide because his story included both extreme illness and hope. He was eventually confined to bed and could not leave his home. His life became limited to a single room, and he depended on others for nearly everything. Despite this, Manuel decided to fight back. With medical support and a strict diet, he began losing weight and achieved dramatic results. He lost hundreds of kilograms, regained some movement, and reconnected with the world around him. Although he later died at 48, his story remains one of the most inspiring examples of how change is possible, even in the most severe situations. 4. Khalid bin Mohsen Shari, Saudi Arabia. Maximum weight, about 610 kilograms. Khalid became widely known in the 2010s when reports of his condition spread internationally. He spent a long period confined to bed and required constant care. His rescue and hospital transport were described as a large-scale medical operation. After receiving professional treatment, including strict dietary control and long-term medical monitoring, he managed to lose a significant amount of weight. His case is often mentioned as a modern example that even extreme obesity can be treated with proper medical support and structured care. 5. Walter Hudson, USA. Maximum weight, about 543 kilograms. Walter Hudson was one of the most well-known extremely obese individuals in the 1970s. His weight was so high that he reportedly could not fit through a normal doorway. He suffered from major health complications, including breathing difficulties and heart strain. At the time, medical treatment options were more limited than today. His life became restricted to his home, and he experienced severe loss of independence. He died at 46. His story highlights how obesity can take away a person's freedom, movement, and everyday dignity. 6. Billy Leonard, USA. Maximum weight, around 480 to 500 kilograms, varies by sources. Billy Leonard is mentioned in historical accounts as one of the heaviest individuals of his time. His story is not as well documented as others, but he represents a period when extreme obesity was often treated as a shocking curiosity rather than a serious medical condition. It is likely that he faced the same painful complications seen in similar cases. Difficulty moving, severe strain on the heart, and complete dependence on carers. His life reflects the reality that without proper treatment, extreme obesity becomes a long-term medical crisis. 7. Donald Hughes, USA. Maximum weight, around 480 to 500 kilograms. Donald Hughes is often listed among the heaviest individuals mentioned in medical and historical discussions. At such weight levels, daily activities become nearly impossible. Dressing, washing, sleeping properly, and even breathing comfortably. People living with extreme obesity often suffer from chronic pain, joint damage, skin infections, and exhaustion. Donald's story is a reminder that even if someone wants to change, they need structured medical care and long-term support to have a real chance of recovery. 8. Robert Earl Hughes, USA. Maximum weight, about 480 kilograms. Robert Earl Hughes lived in the mid-20th century and was often described as the world's fattest man of his era. He appeared in public exhibitions, which reflects a time when people with unusual conditions were sometimes treated as entertainment. While such appearances may have provided income, they often removed a person's dignity and turned them into an object rather than a human being. Robert died at 32. His story shows both the medical danger of extreme obesity and the importance of compassion and respect. 9. Edward Bright, United Kingdom. Maximum weight, about 280 to 300 kilograms, estimated. Edward Bright lived in the 18th century and is considered one of the heaviest people in early British history. At a time when the average body weight was much lower, his size was especially remarkable. In earlier centuries, being overweight was sometimes linked to wealth or comfort. But the health risks were still severe: heart strain, reduced mobility, and shortened lifespan. Edward died relatively young, showing that obesity has existed throughout history, even though modern medicine has only recently developed more effective treatment methods. 10. Paul Mason, United Kingdom. Maximum weight, about 445 kilograms. Paul Mason became widely known as one of the heaviest men in the UK. His story gained attention not only because of his weight, but also because he later managed to lose a significant amount. His obesity was strongly connected to emotional struggles and food addiction. Over time, he became isolated and depended heavily on others. Later, with medical treatment and lifestyle changes, he lost hundreds of kilograms. His journey is a powerful example that recovery is possible, even after years of severe obesity. Why do people reach such extreme weights? Many people assume the answer is simple: just eat less. But extreme obesity is far more complex. Common causes include hormonal disorders, genetic predisposition, psychological trauma, depression and anxiety. Lack of medical support reduced mobility, which increases further weight gain. In many cases, food becomes a coping mechanism, similar to addiction. Why is extreme obesity so dangerous? At this level, obesity can lead to heart failure, type 2 diabetes, sleep apnea, blood clots, severe joint damage, liver disease, chronic skin infections, total dependence on other people. It is not just uncomfortable, it can be life-threatening. Conclusion. The stories of the heaviest people on the planet are not simply records. They are human lives shaped by illness, suffering, and often a lack of support. Extreme obesity is a medical condition that affects both the body and the mind. If these stories teach us anything, it is this: health is not only a number on the scales, it is quality of life. The ability to move, to enjoy life, to connect with others, and to feel human.